Today's Tips du Jour mailbag question comes from Dave in Canada. Robert, recently I watched your video on the use of vacuum. Could you talk more about the vacuum fixtures you find useful in your shop? Thanks, Dave in Canada. Well, folks, we're not talking about shop vacs here. We're talking about the use of vacuum fixtures for holding and clamping. Using vacuum in your shop is certainly a luxury rather than a necessity. However, when you put vacuum in your shop, you're going to find 1,000,001 uses for it. It is really a cool thing. So let me show you some of the vacuum fixtures I use in my shop. The first thing you need to think about is how to create the vacuum. Now, you could use a vacuum pump like the one I'm showing here. You could also use a fixture called a Venturi valve, which looks like this. The Venturi valve hooks up to your compressor. As the air escapes through the line, a perpendicular line comes in, and because of the air rushing by on that line, it creates a vacuum or suction on that line, and thus you have vacuum in your shop. Once you've created a vacuum, you can use it for holding things. Here's an example where I'm using a work holder made by LMI to hold the guitar. It allows me to swivel and pivot the instrument as I work. Another use of vacuum is to clamp bridges to soundboards. This is much easier than using clamps to the sound hole. You also don't run the risk of damaging the finish with the clamps. Here's another hold down fixture I use in my shop. It is used to hold my radius dishes. This one is just attached permanently to my bench, but you could also make it thicker and put gasket material on both sides. This way it would attach itself anywhere it's placed. If you really want to get fancy, you could use a fixture like this for clamping braces instead of using a go-bar deck. Vacuum bags are also very useful in the shop, and you can use it to do things like double tops. So Dave, these are some of the vacuum fixtures that I use in my shop. As you can see, there are many uses for vacuum. With some gasket material and rubber membrane, you can even make your own fixtures, and you are only limited by the amount of creativity you have. So I hope this has been useful for you, Dave, and happy building.